With your permission, may I start now? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, Happy New Year. I thank you for your coming. It is my pleasure to see you here again in the new year 2014. I have organized today's press conference, to brief on the principal stand of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea on the important proposal made by the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea on 16 this month, January 16. Ladies and gentlemen, as is already known, the respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, the first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, DPRK, has warmly called upon in his historic New Year address for 2014 to bring about a favorable atmosphere for improving the relations between the North and the South of Korea and ensuring peace and security on the Korean Peninsula and in the region. The National Defense Commission of the DPRK, in this connection, has made the following proposals to the South Korean authorities upon authorization of the government, political parties, and organizations of the DPRK. First, we propose taking practical measures in hearty response to the warm call for creating a favorable atmosphere for improving the North-South relations. It is the invariable stand of the Army and the people of the DPRK to mend the North-South relations and achieve national reconciliation and unity. Therefore, we officially propose the South Korean authorities to take practical measures of halting all acts of provoking and slandering the other side from January 13, the day before the Lunar New Year's Day. This year is a significant year, marking the 10th anniversary of the June 4 Agreement, in which the North and the South agreed to stop all forms of slanders and psychological warfare in the spirit of the historic June 15 Joint Declaration. If South Korea respects this agreement it has signed, there won't be any reason whatsoever for it not to accept our proposal. If the South Korean authorities have true intent for improving the North-South relations, they should definitely end the vicious cycle of slandering and hatred that are harmful to all and listen to the voices of fellow countrymen calling for reconciliation of the nation. Second, we propose taking a practical step of halting all hostile military acts against the other side in response to the historical call for ensuring the security and peace of the nation. Even minor and existential conflict can immediately lead to an all-out war on the Korean Peninsula. This is a stark reality today. Any war on the Korean Peninsula will help big powers fish in troubled waters and bring unimaginable destruction to the Koreans. Therefore, we again propose immediately and unconditionally halting all military and hostile acts against the fellow countrymen in collusion with outsiders. For the present, the South Korean authorities should take a crucial political decision of canceling key resolve and Fall Eagle joint military exercises, the key resolve and Fall Eagle joint military exercises, which they plan to stage from the end of February under the pretext of annual and defensive drills. If the coordination and cooperation with the United States are so precious and valuable, they had better hold the exercises in the secluded area or in the U.S. far away from the territorial land, sea, and air of the Korean Peninsula. This is the stand of the DPRK. Explicitly speaking, the DPRK will never take military acts with outsiders detrimental to the nation's security and peace in the future, either as in the past. We especially propose stopping all acts provoking the other side on the ground and in the sea and the air, including 5 islands in the West Sea, the hot spots where both sides are in acute showdown, leveling their guns at each other. The DPRK side will show its practical action first for the realization of this proposal. Third, we propose taking practical measures to be beneficial to each other to prevent a nuclear holocaust from being inflicted on the Korean Peninsula. The denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula is a goal common to the nation. This is also invariable will of the Army and the people of the DPRK. The possession of nuclear weapons and a pursuance of line of simultaneously pushing forward economic construction and build-up of a nuclear force are treacherous words common to the nation and most just option for self-defense, which aims at ending the nuclear threat and blackmail against all Koreans by the United States, and envisages the Korean Peninsula and the rest of the world free from nuclear weapons. Our nuclear force serves as a means for deterring the U.S. from posing a nuclear threat. It will never be a means for blackmailing the fellow countrymen and doing harm to them. We courteously propose the South side not to resort to reckless acts of bringing dangerous nuclear strike means of the U.S. to South Korea and to area around it. It is the stand of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea to resolutely break with the double-dealing stand of tolerating nuclear weapons of outsiders which are harmful to the fellow countrymen, while denying the nuclear weapons of fellow countrymen which protect the nation. These crucial proposals reflect the desire and wish of all the Koreans to reject outsiders and bring earlier the independent reunification, peace, and prosperity of the nation from the standpoint of by our nation itself. The inter-Korean relations are very significant in the development of the situation in the Asia-Pacific region. And it is only when the relations are settled that the peace and the security on the Korean Peninsula and its vicinities are ensured, with the way forward wide open. Many countries are now talking about peace and security on the Korean Peninsula. Our principled position, true to their meaning, are the first step to that end. In improving the relations between the North and the South and ensure the peace and the security in the Korean Peninsula and in the region, it is imperative to halt slandering, stop hostile military acts between the North and South and create climate of reconciliation. We do not want to see North-South relations compelled into critical tension. We are patiently making every effort to drive the relations between the North and the South towards the reconciliating mood. This is why the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the supreme organ of the state, has made such proposals which are related to the inter-Korean affairs belonging to the mandate of the Committee for Peaceful Reunification of the Fatherland. The proposals made by our supreme organ of the state are not aiming at putting pressures on the South Korean authorities. It is for South Korea to take our proposals seriously and have a sincere attitude towards improving the North-South relations. It is our position that the international community should no longer permit the United States and South Korea to carry on their dangerous military joint exercises on the Korean Peninsula. We remind once again that even minor and existential conflict can immediately lead to an all-out war. This is a stark reality on the Korean Peninsula today. We never want to see things fall out of control and plunge into unimaginable disaster. The United States and South Korea are now misleading the public opinion as if the present stalemate and hostility in the inter-Korea relations are due to the DPRK. They are deliberately creating tension by fabricating non-existent state of emergency and provocations and threat from the DPRK. Defiant of demands of the international community for the peace and the security on the Korean Peninsula, the United States and South Korea are even planning to stage aggressive key resolve and full eagle joint military exercises against the DPRK, deceiving the world under the pretext of annual and defensive exercises from the end of February. The annual key resolve and full eagle joint military exercises are undeniable war games of invasion into and nuclear war drills against the DPRK. In their nature and size, when you look at the massive arms buildup of all kinds of weapons of mass destruction, including nuclear weapons, and most sophisticated war machines of Army, Navy, and Air Forces being deployed by the United States into South Korea. If the United States and South Korea dare to move into such dangerous war games against the Korean Peninsula, again on the Korean Peninsula, which is the hottest spot in the world, they will never escape from responsibility for undermining the peace and the security on the Korean Peninsula and in the region. Nor will they escape from the due strong condemnations of the DPRK and the international community, which keep steadfast towards peace and development. It is the consistent policy and invariable will of the DPRK to defend the peace and security on the Korean Peninsula. The DPRK has making every effort to realize the various practical proposals which it advanced in order to end the unstable armistice system and build the permanent peace regime on Korean Peninsula. The current proposals made by the National Defense Commission of the DPRK this time are a part of the sincere efforts of the DPRK to prevent another war and defend the security and peace of the entire Korean nation. If the South Korean authorities sincerely value the peace and security on the Korean Peninsula, they should take our principled proposals seriously and respond positively with practical actions. In conclusion, I wish all of you have a good understanding of the important proposals made by the National Defense Commission of the DPRK and the current situation on the Korean Peninsula. I hope you will fulfill your noble duties as journalists, representing the voices of mankind, opposing war and aggression, and love, peace, and justice for the improvement of the inter-Korean relations and peace and security on the Korean Peninsula. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you very much for your attentive listening.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Sin. Pamela Falk from CBS News, and on behalf of the UN Correspondents Association, thank you for coming back and for the briefing. My question is, the response by the South Korean Defense Ministry to your National Defense Commission's proposal was that they want action, actions, not words, and you personally have issued calls for dialogue in the past, as your government has. Why do you think now this might work? And when you say rejecting outsiders, does that mean that you're not interested in returning to the six-party talks? Thank you.
Do you want to answer that one or take more than one?
No, I receive in package, then give you answer.
Okay. On behalf of the Pre-UN Coalition for Access, thanks for doing this briefing. I wanted to know if the inter-family reunions that have been proposed in the letter would still go forward if the joint military action takes place in February. And I also wanted to know, since we're here at the UN, the Secretary General called South Korean President Park on the day after New Year's, and we didn't get a readout here, but she said that they discussed DPRK and Mr. Ban committed to work with them on it. I wanted to know your thoughts on that, or if you know more about that call than we do. Thank you.
I would like to ask a question regarding Chungcheongan case. How does your government perceive what has happened with this investigation? And there have been reports that the South Korea Unification Ministry will open a website with information on the Democratic People's Republic of Korea next Monday, including profiles of officials and geographic features. Does the National Defense Commission view this release of information as counterproductive in the push for North-South ties?
Well, thank you very much for raising such an important questions you have raised. Well, I will take a long time if I explain all the questions you have raised, but I give you my advice that you can find answers from my briefing here. Then you can find answers if you carefully read out different media from my country, Korean Central News Agency, as well as the other media from my country. You can find out every details what we want to know about Korean situation, in particular regarding to very important proposals of the National Defense Commission, which has been published on 16 January this month. I thank you for your attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the first drafts of the statement. Korean and excuse me, how can I have the list of participants? Oh, yep.